bitches, ho trovato questo gioco a 2,50 € su Steam. Mi aveva parlato un amico tanto tempo fa di qualcosa, ma ora non mi ricordo bene, quindi ero incuriosito e l'ho comprato e ho detto perché no, proviamo a portarlo sul canale. Non ho mai portato qualcosa di strano, quindi proviamo un pochino. Non so praticamente niente di questo gioco, non ho la più pallida idea di come funziona, quindi è un buon modo per vedere. Ok. Vabbè,
Stanley
Parable
worked
si
for a
chiama,
company
quindi
in a
pare
big
logico.
building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor
Pare
on his
autistico,
desk,
guardate come
telling
premi i
him what
tasti.
buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar
era felice.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
E ti avete presente quei giochi in cui tipo Portal, non so, che alla fine c'è qualcosa di... Non so premere i tasti. C'è scritto? Ok, I hate Mondays.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vabbè. Vediamo un pochino. Ma porte. Che cazzo è successo? Knowing yourself. Vabbè, niente, non c'è niente di che. Ma che cazzo di fine ha fatto tutta la gente? Tipo sembra... Oddio, secondo me questo gioco è horror alla fine, porca.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Perché là c'è una porta sulla destra?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Che cazzo? Ma questo è il salone di... Ma che cazzo sta succedendo? Ma raga, non capisco.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ok.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Brutto rumore.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Oh. Ora se ora mi cago sotto, eh? Oh. Oh, caricamento.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Non voglio dire
no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Oh no. Che? Va bene. La voce narrante si è sbagliata, ha cambiato.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right?
Paura.
What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh. Madonna, che paura. Raga, io non capisco, cioè praticamente questa voce narrante cambia le cose.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Ma che? Ma come ricominciare il gioco dal principio? No, raga.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Cazzo vuol
Perhaps he
dire?
had simply missed a memo.
C'è qualcosa in
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on.
Cioè, ho cambiato la storia,
I'm the one who wrote
praticamente.
the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then.
Ma che
It's an
cazzo?
adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh mio Dio. No. Raga, è il momento di andare. Dobbiamo trovare la storia. Che cazzo vuol dire poi trovare la storia? Vi giuro, questo gioco è scioccante. Oddio, che paura. No, a parte no. Ora succede qualcosa di brutto che mi spaventa, ne sono sicuro.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ma che cazzo? Ma che diavolo sta accadendo? Basta!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh mio Dio, raga. Vi giuro, ora faccio... Ma non ci sono più le...
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction
Ma cosa
and
vuol
see if we missed
dire?
anything?
Io non ci voglio andare. Vaffanculo. Se in questo gioco vuoi prendere decisioni, perché non posso, cioè, stare fermo? Ho visto che posso fare scelte diverse, almeno per quello che ho visto sono successe cose, a meno che non è tutto uguale, cioè pure se prendevo la porta prima a sinistra, poi quella, poi andavo dritto e mi ricapitavo sempre in quel posto con gli schermi. Quindi vediamo che succede se aspetto. Nevermind, ragazzi. Non serve a niente aspettare. Come perdere tempo in un gioco? Dove devo andare? Cosa devo fare? Non c'è nessuno.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story.
Oh.
Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Ancora. Oh mio Dio.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Ma che diavolo?
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Questo parla degli altri giocatori, le altre persone sono gli altri
I'm getting
giocatori che
weirded
hanno
out by
giocato.
whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have
No,
to
basta
restart.
ricominciare, basta. No.
All right, I've got a solution. This time,
Oh,
to make sure we
vedi,
don't get
colpi
lost,
autistici.
I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Raga, vi giuro che questa cosa mi fa pensare che tipo sono un giocatore autistico, un giocatore speciale, tipo bimbo speciale, e mi hanno messo la linea perché non so giocare a sto gioco. Vi giuro, penso sia questa la motivazione. Ne sono quasi sicuro. Dai. La seguiamo? Andiamo, dai. Però la prima deviazione cambio.
You see,
Vi giuro
the
voglio
line
cambiare.
knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
La linea sa
Onward,
dove
Stanley,
deve
to
essere quella
destiny.
direzione.
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
Va bene.
Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think
Ragazzi,
what we
se
need
mi
right
scrivete in
now
un
is a bit
commento
of
e mi
music
spiegate
to
bene quello che ha
lighten
detto,
the
sono
mood.
felice. Dio mio. Vabbè. Che cazzo sta accadendo in questo gioco? Non c'ho io no. Levala questa musica, Daffasi, ma che cazzo gli ha preso la linea? È diventata speciale come me. Mi pare normale. Bella domanda. Tu non ci puoi fare di questo. Qualcosa 4, 8, 11, 16, 23, 42 ragazzi, Lost. Non voglio andare là, basta. No. Cosa mi spaventa? Oh! Madonna. Basta questa musica! No, fermi tutti. Vado di qua. Quella cosa era troppo malata.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Che cazzo c'è mo? E questa è la pianta di felce, no? Ok, ok.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
What? No, raga, non sto capendo più quello che sta accadendo. No, fermi tutti. E qua mi porta? Aspettate. C'è qualcosa che non va, io la porta la vedevo aperta. Dio, cosa sta accadendo?
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
Non capisco. Ti prego non reiniziare. Ti prego no. Ok. Ma che... No, non può. Vabbè, non si può fare niente. Vi giuro non capisco questo gioco, non ci sto capendo niente. Mi sta mandando in una confusione totale.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through...
Quello è il numero 102, raga, dobbiamo andare al numero 102. Lo devo segnare. 102, 2, 3... Porca troia! 102, 234 dobbiamo trovare. Dai, dobbiamo trovarli.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ma io non voglio andare là. Oh mio Dio, ma la porta è il numero 437. Se ogni volta per ogni porta c'è qualcosa di diverso, questo gioco cazzo è infinito.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Questo sta male il narratore. Sta male.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Pare un animale sta linea.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
Ah, figo, cioè quindi non sa niente ora la voce narrante. Stiamo rifacendo la storia.
I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory
for logic. Che cazzo di logica è?
Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this?
Ma che...
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined. So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply
quindi non è
because
così, cioè la voce narrante sta andando contro quello che le cose che sono successe ora nel gioco?
Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide?
Ma questo forse è quello che abbiamo fatto. Ma quante volte ho ristartato il gioco?
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Muore.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Che paura. Che paura.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vi giuro questa volta seguo le cose.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
E va bene. Lo faccio. Vi giuro lo faccio.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, io non ci vado. Io non ci vado.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Stanley è
he
sicuramente
imagined
autistico.
himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too, surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
No. Non ha funzionato, frate.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Non finisce più.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
C'è raggio? Andiamo? No, non posso attraversare tutto. Comunque i numeri erano 102 e... Oddio, me li sono già scordati. No!
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Mo ci vado dal boss, non riscendo più là, vi giuro. Non ci scendo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Sì, sì, bla 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 bla. Niente, non si può aprire niente, cazzo. La porta si è chiusa. Bene.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
Bella.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
The fuck? Ma che diavolo sta succedendo? No. Dai, nuova via, nuovo segreto, vediamo che cazzo succede. Vi giuro, non sto capendo come si può finire questo gioco, è irreale, non so come si arriva, come c'è una fine o qualcosa.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No, c'è scritto escape, è di qua.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
YOLO.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
È fake, non morirò. Scialla.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Tutto ok? Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great
Che cosa
loss,
vuol dire?
cutting the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Qualcosa? No.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
No, poverino. Non è vero. Ah, YOLO.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Allora. Ok. Perché è cambiata la voce? È qualcosa di malvagio, è una voce femminile. È malvagia, ne sono sicuro. YOLO.
È pronto.
Yes, ma.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Allora, praticamente dice che io ho iniziato da qua, che è il mio ufficio. E giocando, avendo fatto la scelta più avanti delle due porte, ho cambiato il percorso del gioco. Allora, ogni volta che... Ah, qui è scritto praticamente a seconda... Cioè, le due porte, in base alla scelta che si prende, vanno a creare un'estensione, emerge un'estensione del gioco che lo fa comunque esplorare e cominciano ad esserci delle stanze che vanno in contraddizione con se stesse e con le altre. Flying cabinets, che vuol dire? Vabbè. Natural paintings. Vabbè. No, non ho capito il senso di natural paintings. The office, ok. Non capisco il perché. Questo gioca a Hertz. Employee data. Vabbè, io spengo tutto. Non capisco quello che devo fare. Qua non posso salire. Ok, vediamo. Vabbè. I credits. Cioè, non mi dire che siamo arrivati alla fine del gioco. Non ci credo. Non ci credo, questo è tipo un museo di Stanley. My Intense Room. Warzone. We designed an early. Cioè praticamente questo qui è un museo di quello che hanno fatto nel gioco, che volevano fare nel gioco. Praticamente Stanley arrivava in un campo di battaglia dove combatteva gli alieni. Ma che cazzo? Avevo detto poi che è stato meglio non farla perché non sarebbe stato l'intento del gioco alla fine. Ma che cazzo di roba malata. Di là? Che sti rumori tipo di scarpe? No. Ma che... Ma che sono sti rumori che sento? Che? To the apartment any time would give you 5 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone with a different ending. Ma che diavolo? Cioè se tu metti una vecchia versione prima di un update, se uno non prendeva il come si chiama? Il telefono, succedeva un tipo di finale diverso. Meeting room, one option. What about this? Obey, first choice, disobey alone. Ma che cazzo? Ma che diavolo?
Ho messo la pasta su.
Arrivo, ma... Ma che diavolo? C'è un finale quando uno arrivava nell'escape menu. Ma che diavolo sta accadendo? Perché la roba si è accesa? Vabbè. Non sto capendo il gioco. Io ho visto poi già you can jump. C'hai ragione, non si può saltare. E io premevo barra spaziatrice. E così ci fosse un museo di stalle. Ma perché? Ma che? Vabbè, sentite, andiamo a vedere cosa ci sta là. Io non so che dirvi. Mi lascia pretty shock at this game, motherfucker. Ma perché c'è un museo su Stanley? Stanley. Aveva parlato.
Stanley walked over the bridge.
Va bene, a me fa paura però la voce del tizio, quindi io me ne vado. Andiamo là dove c'è scritto Stanley Parable. Freedom Ending. Quale cazzo è la Freedom Ending? Non sto capendo. Freedom Ending in standard beta, vabbè. E quindi io che finale ho fatto?
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Forse non dovrei premerlo. Però ormai devo andare a mangiare. Yolo.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone
Io non lo
else's
faccio.
path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Io me ne vado pure. Sono morto? Sono morto? Cioè, non mi dite che sono... Cosa devo fare? Vabbè, esco, ricomincio il gioco. Per forza, the end is never, non c'è mai fine. Non ci credo. Spero vi sia piaciuto, ragazzi, questo gameplay di Stanley Parable. Non so se ho finito il gioco, ci sono altri finali o altre cose da fare ora che ho fatto ricominciare. Non voglio andare avanti. Ora chiuderò il gioco, anzi tornerò al menu e continuerò, ragazzi, il gioco la prossima volta. Se vi è piaciuto questo video, se raggiungeremo più di 600 like, io continuerò con la Stanley Parable, farò ovviamente un altro walkthrough e cercherò di capire come si arriva a questo gioco, perché quando siamo entrati nel museo io ho visto dei finali, Freedom Ending, c'erano varie opzioni, quindi non lo so, devo provare, voglio vedere. E poi è un gioco che mi ha lasciato un po', non lo so, stordito, strano. L'ho preso, quando l'ho preso non sapevo di cosa parlava e nemmeno ora sono ben sicuro di cosa sia questo gioco. E tra l'altro quell'immagine là sopra del quadro potrebbe essere la Freedom Ending, io non mi ricordo se c'era all'inizio. Vabbè, fa niente, comunque io spero vi sia piaciuto, ragazzi, e bitches, ci vediamo al prossimo video, fatemi sapere se volete che continui questo gioco, let's go!